Is it possible to have a 5-hour work week? I need to put on my gloves because it's so freaking cold in this car. I actually had to scrape the windows from within this morning. Yeah. Well, I'm so super excited about this topic. Is it possible to have a 5-hour work week? Well, we are about to discover that. Or let me put it this way. We are going to create that for ourselves. This is the year, 2026. This is the year. And in this series, I am going to... Okay, let me put it like this first. It's not possible, for me anyway, to start with only a 5-hour work week to build my business to scale. Although, if I only had 5 hours, that is the time that I got, and I would be able to create something magical and something profound with that space, using that time. But since I want to wrap up this process to build a system, a back-end system for the 5-hour work week, I will work more than 5 hours per week. I don't know for how long, but if it's for the entire year or this first month or until June, I don't know. But the aim is to build the system. And if you clicked on this video, you probably heard about the 4-hour work week by, I don't remember his name now, Ferris. I know when I see his name, I know exactly. Okay, he's the guy who wrote the 4-hour work week book because I've read it, and I actually stumbled on that packaging, that somebody actually had done that and had built a system, like in the fall 2025. I were watching another creator. She's called the spiritual digital nomad, I'm not sure, and she talked about this book, and that threw me back to, I don't know, maybe it was 5 years ago when I were between jobs, and I remember like, okay, now I have all this time, and at that moment in my life, I knew I wanted a different path than the 9-to-5 grind, but I were not as close to actually getting started. I was more like flirting with the idea, but since I needed to apply for jobs, apply for, the jobs that were offered, the table of offerings that we so often think this is it, because that is how we are programmed in school. These are the works that you could have, so get grades to get which one you like the most. But that is not the truth, and especially not today, when we can actually make income and create completely new industries and business, and we see proof of that all the time. But anyway, I thought that, okay, I have at least 4 hours per day that I can very much laser focus on researching the job based on the offerings, which I thought I had to limit myself to, and also, improve my skills in order to get a specific job, but also do some research regarding, could I take a course or get some grades for a specific job application. So I blocked this time in my Google Calendar, which I called work for number 4 S, success, because already back then I didn't like to call it work for work, because I unconsciously, I guess, felt this, it feels wrong. It feels wrong to work for the sake of working. We want to put good vibration, good intentional energy into what we are doing to feel fulfillment. And yeah, we want a paycheck for that, but it matters more to actually enjoy in some way what we are doing. So that was like my first own crafted approach to make the work schedule tidier, more narrow, because I realized within this 4 hours I got so much done because I had this laser focus, and I got a job, a dream job on paper. It wasn't, but that is a story for another time. But or maybe that actually belongs to this story, because I got this job at SEO optimization bureau as an project assistant, and it was a completely new industry for me. And I fell in love with the industry, but not with the work, not with the work environment. So I ended up actually resigning with no money saved, no, income. But for reason of my mental health, I knew that I cannot stay here. And that started a lot of different processes within me. I was angry, but also excited about that force of energy, because it directed me towards something completely different, or rather it directed me to something that I already knew deep within me, that I want to spend my time doing something meaningful, yes, for myself, but I also do think that when it feels meaningful to me, to you, it leaves prints in the work that we, in the service that we provide to others. So then I created, like, based on reading The Atomic Habit, about building systems. He talks about identity. That is not my thing. I believe in terms of creating or expanding different versions that we already have. But anyway, so I started this 15 minutes, and I called it 15 minutes to success. I mean, because who doesn't love, an inspiring, encouraging name of a system? And that was something that I did to make room for my one of the biggest number one passions in my life. And I would say I have a lot at that place, number one place. But anyway, my music. So I applied this 50 minutes daily minimum to actually make music. And it ended up, I ended up by applying this system, going from not creating anymore to buy a keyboard, a synth, if you will, and starting to write some music on that, to research and discover, what should we call it, beginner platform studio to be able. It's called, okay, what is it called? DAP, whatever, to actually record my music. And then and all those steps led me up to actually invest in my real software studio. And by the end of the year, I had created, released my first album as an independent artist on Spotify, my lifelong dream. And why I walk around this to lead up to 4-hour work week is because at some level, I understand that applying the concept of time with intention and with a focus, we can build systems in order for us to not having to trade our time for money. There is this, I don't know if it's like a metaphor or if it is a real story, and I tried to keep it short here. It was, I don't know if it was back in the 50s or 60s. I don't know. I don't remember. But anyway, there was like this fabric, and they had this engine, this, whole big thing that ran pretty much the entire industry. And for one day it didn't work. So everybody working at that job tried to, um, tried to find out, okay, what is the problem? But they couldn't figure it out, and they tried everything that they could, any idea that they could come up with, and then they had to call in a professional, and he went to this place, and everybody was like, yeah, oh, so good that you're here, because we cannot figure this out. Something's very, very wrong here. And I don't know if he just pressed a button or mixed with some screws or whatever, and everything was up and running. And everybody was like, oh my God, it only took you seconds. And then they got the bill, and I have no idea about the numbers, but it was a expensive bill. So let's say it cost $10,000 or $2,000, I don't know. And they were like, oh, okay, so your hour, what you take in an hour is really expensive. How could it be so expensive? I mean, you were only here like 5 minutes. And he replied, you paid for all the reps, all the studies, all the education that led me to this kind of knowledge. So they didn't pay for the time that he was actually there. They were paying for his value. And I do believe that a 5-hour work week is possible, but maybe we need to put in more time. But if you think about it, you have already put in a lot of time, because whatever business that you are trying to build or want to build is probably based on your passion, hopefully, and the things that your unique perspectives and your life experience and all the things that you have learned already through years and years in your past. And that accumulates, and you can direct that into the sequence of, very narrow time windows. And the reason why I call it the 5-hour work week is because, I'm still programmed, let it admit it, about, how a normal week looks like. We have, the working days, Monday to Fridays, and we have the weekend. And I thought I can start with that. So I can start with, in the beginning, the idea is to build like, a system, but also like a mindset approach. So I will start with 5 hours, multiply with 5 hours per day. And maybe this sounds so confusing, but I cannot show you anything. I cannot give you the visuals of the idea. But that will be the topic for the next chapter. See you there. Yeah, and I call it chapter. I'm so, for some reason, I like to talk in terms of chapters instead of videos or episodes. I think chapter is such a good metaphor. Every day is a new chapter, or every day is a new page in a new chapter, and that chapter can be the month, and every month could be the 12 chapters in a new book, the yearbook. Very silly, I know, but I love being silly. Beyond the silliness and fluff and all those things is where we can connect with the positive vibration, according to me. But I will see you in the next chapter. And if I lose my way and the road gets dark, I find the compass within my own heart.